his personal toilet.
But sinks, toilets, and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
What on earth is going on with Trump and toilets? Trump's White House toilet would be clogged with documents that Donald Trump was flushing down the toilet. Is this the explanation? Is this the explanation?
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15
Trump was
times.
doing this with his personal toilet.
Elements of bathrooms.
And showers.
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
Duty. 10 times, 15 times. Not me,
Elements of bathrooms.
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Elements of bathrooms.
Look at that. 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 That is Pac-Man, press director.
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser.
This is just a statistic.
Look at that.
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 Alex Jones is lying to you. That might come as a shock.
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man.
This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic.
Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers.
This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic. This is just a statistic.
Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Corporate takeover, censorship, debanking, arrest, tyranny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace. Look at that. Look at that.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
9 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people rely. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes?
Well, welcome everybody. It is under unfortunate circumstances that we are together today. We knew it was coming, right? I mean, barring some change, this leaked months ago. We knew this day was coming. We knew it would likely be a Friday. We knew it would likely be in June. And today is a June and Friday. It is in June and a Friday, right? And the Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade, eliminating abortion as a right federally. pushing this back to the states. Now, many people are writing to me saying, sir, this is a good decision. I love abortion, or I'm for abortion being legal. I don't know anyone who loves abortion. But it should be a state who decides. Why? I mean, why? Why should it be something a state decides? Should it be up to states to decide whether triple bypass surgery is legal? I mean, but it's arbitrary. I mean, sure, you can say I prefer a state to decide, but there's no real reason why it has to be that way. And one of the things that's abundantly clear is that this won't stop here. Now, I know that there are many people saying, when I said a few months ago, this isn't the end. You don't have a major victory. Guys, this is a 50-year victory for them. They've been pushing to do this for 50 years. You don't get a victory you fought 50 years for and go, well, I'm satisfied. Let's call it a day and go shoot our guns and, but what, I mean, go to, what do conservatives do? Go to church and, not teach sex ed, whatever. You go further. Now, and Chakuseki here, our resident radiologist, says Thomas's statement shows this is just the beginning. They are prepared to repeal all of the rights people fought so desperately for. What a shame. They're going to try more. I don't believe next year interracial marriage will be banned. Not what I'm saying, but they'll try to do a federal ban on abortion. Right now, there's no federal right. States can decide, and a hell of a lot of states are about to ban abortion. That's for damn sure. But they would say, well, let's let's actually ban it at the federal level. What about gay marriage? What about, in Texas, they want to get rid of the right to a public education for the children of undocumented immigrants, just kids, right? I mean, they didn't choose to cross the border. All of these. Oh, sorry. Hold on a second, guys. There's already people that have to get banned. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're just not tolerating the BS. Sorry. Okay, guys. So just a lot of ban. I apologize to interrupt. To have to interrupt. So there will be more attempts, and the question is just how far will it go? And the answer is going to be it depends who's on the court, and who determines who's on the court. Presidents do. So it depends who becomes president of the United States. Not to do another whole I told you so thing, but back in 2016, you had supposed leftists going, the Supreme Court, that's not a good enough reason to support Hillary. At least Donald Trump has business experience. They're the same. They're both globalist, internationalist, Trotskyite socialists, unlike Obama, Trudeau, Macron, and the rest of these Zio beasts. Right. Okay. If Hillary had won, we would have Roe v. Wade. It's do whatever else you want. Benghazi, Seth Rich, Benghazi, the Clinton Global Initiative, Benghazi, Hillary's emails, Benghazi, private email server. I mean, do what Epstein, whatever. If Hillary were president in 27, starting in January 2017, we would have Roe v. Wade. Benghazi. Okay, you guys get it. It's what it is. Okay? Now, what next? Well, protests are building at the Supreme Court. Protests, I assume, will be peaceful. No attempts are being made to breach the barriers at this point in time. And we are going to watch this very closely. We are monitoring multiple feeds, and I am excited to hear from you and see what is on your mind as well. We're monitoring CNN as well. Jeffrey Toobin, back from being fired for masturbating on a Zoom video on CNN, or suspended, I guess. He is providing legal analysis. So we have a lot of different things going on. Now, one of the things I do want to mention, there's one other super chat. People are still trying to blame Obama. Yeah, is that true? I mean, I haven't seen that. Also, my colleague John, I have not watched any of these. My colleague John assembled reactions to this decision from Marjorie Taylor Greene, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Gates, Paul Gosar, Trump Jr., Liz Cheney, Kevin McCarthy, Ben Shabibo, Dave Rubin, and Michael Knowles. We'll look at some of those reactions and maybe we can guess what some of them are in advance. Now, I do want to say one other thing, and this is just I'll say more about this when things are more calm. The reason I was off the show this week is not because of paternity leave. It is not because of paternity leave. I was expecting to be on the show. Horrible thing happened. My girlfriend slash fiance, depending on what day and who you ask. No, I'm kidding. She was rehospitalized after the baby she needed surgery with a very serious condition, a perforated ulcer. And I ended up just having to bail on the entire week, taking care of the baby. She's in the hospital. It was not my intention to be off, but it has been terrible. She's still in the hospital. Hopefully we'll be out soon. We've got, people around for coverage today for the baby. So really, really, really bad. And just, bad for every reason you can imagine. A critical week for the baby and an important week from the standpoint of news, although that's, of course, secondary to everybody's health and all these different things. So that's what's been going on. And my hope is to be back on the show Monday. The man with the greatest cranium in the business, Farron Cousins, has said he can be on standby for Monday were I not able to host on that day. Okay. Who's looking after the baby now? Oh, the baby's right down there on the floor. No, the baby's at home with family. The baby's fine. Now, let me address an interesting thing. A lot of people have been writing in saying, people write in with tears in their eyes. How they have tears when they write, I don't know. But I just know they write in with tears in their eyes. And they say, sir, you have been a great pro-choice advocate for as long as you've been doing the show. Now that you have a baby, has your view on abortion changed? Has your view on abortion changed now that you have a baby? And many people saying, I used to be pro-choice, I had a baby, and now I am against choice. That is a great question. What is the answer? Has my view on abortion changed since I had a baby? The answer is it is not. The answer is it is not. And in fact, I would actually go even further. Now that I've had the experience of seeing through a pregnancy where an abortion could be possible at different points in time, I actually am even stronger in my pro-choice beliefs. That's not a pro-abortion belief. It's not, let's get people to have abortions. No. It's pro-choice. And in fact, there's this idea, Trump claims he was pro-choice for 68 years. And then a few months before he ran for president, he said, I met a kid and it was a great kid. And the mom said, I thought about having an abortion and I didn't. And Trump was like, wow, imagine if this great kid never existed. Now I'm against abortion. That's the explanation from Trump. Now, I don't believe it even for a second. Obama. Like not even for a second. But that's the story that Trump told. The more I think about it, now that I know the baby, what if circumstances were such that an abortion would have been discussed or chosen at the 5-week mark? Now that I know the baby and I know that it would have been the cells that led to this baby that would have been aborted, now 9 months ago. Am I against that now? No. I recognize that while this is now a baby and a person that I know, at that point, it was something completely different and it has no bearing whatsoever. It doesn't change my view at all that had we chosen or needed an abortion at that time, it would not have been this person that now exists. And it's a choice that people should be able to make. I mean, no. So I think, in fact, the baby has reinforced my pro-choice beliefs for people who feel they need to or are put in a position to make that choice. That's it. I mean, I don't know that I need to say more about it. But that is that. Other super chats, take it easy, sir. If you need more time off, we understand. Wishing for a speedy recovery for your fiancé. Thank you. Sir, how do we fix this? I think our only chance is Supreme Court term limitations. Well, we could have prevented it. We could have prevented it just by voting for Hillary Killary. Remember people referring to her that way? Now this is what we've got. Okay, what happens in terms of access to abortion in red states? People who can afford it, listen, guys, people who can afford it will continue to get abortions. And they'll be able to find them either in-state privately at off-the-records clinics. Guys, yeah, this exists. Or in other states. Poor people will struggle. And they either will be forced to carry to term babies they are not necessarily equipped or predisposed to care for, or there will be dangerous so-called home or back alley abortions. I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's what it is, and it's very sad. Has to be a point where violence becomes needed. Cannot sit idly by as 9 people turn the U.S. into a Christo-fascist state against the will of the people. That's Mikey. Welcome back, Sir Pac-Man. I hope your pickles are charged. Let me see if I've got that still.
Uncharged pickles?
Trump's reaction on Fox was to say this wasn't his doing, it was God's decision. How did this with his picks? He did this with his picks. Can you imagine? I know. It's absolutely stunning. Stunning stuff. All right, let me thank a few people, and then we're going to go on to reactions. I want to say thank you to so many people grabbing Twitch Prime subscriptions. Merkelist, Andy Yamashiro, Sad Shenanigans, Physicist, Christina, Erroneous, Rich E, Margot Cabot, Rated Roy, Holly Garak, Trisha Northstar, Rob Starla, Ida Tofu, Staley Explores, Fury Star, Ladson wait a second. No, some of those people I said don't even count. So take 2 away and add the freak. And that puts us at 11. I really, really appreciate that. Today's coupon code, guys, is resist. The coupon codes lately really requiring no explanation. I want to say thank you to Kevin Ludecki for signing up at joinpacman.com, new member number 12. And also thanks to Kevin Combs for gifting a membership at joinpacman.com. That's number 13. Thanks to Juan for gifting a membership as well. If you would like to get a free membership, go to davidpacman.com/free membership. Put your info in. We just go in line. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's get to some reactions here. Let's start with, let's see what we've got. Do you want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene's reaction to the ruling first? I mean, let's just kind of go in order. I don't know. Let's see what we've got here. I haven't seen these yet, so we're all watching these for the first time.
So awesome. Oh my gosh. I can't believe they just did it. This is so amazing.
Man, this woman is vile. Vile.
I'm trying not to cry.
Okay. So she's giddy. Let's check out. Oh, sorry. More of these coming. David, congrats on the baby. Did you see MAGOP Governor Charlie Baker signed an executive order protecting doctors serving out-of-state patients? I did not see that, but that's a great thing. Many states may do it. Have I ever interviewed Brian Tyler Cohen? It would be a great discussion between the two of you. I have not. Would be glad to. Thanks to Fwasti for the Twitch Prime subscription. I appreciate that. Mods in Twitch and in YouTube, please be on the alert. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and do not hesitate to drop a ban hammer, and we can adjudicate them when the smoke clears. If you're in doubt, just ban, because we're not going to. It's just not a day for that. Okay, so moderators, you know what to do. I'm deputizing you. Let's go next to Josh Hawley and see what Josh Hawley's reaction is as the protests continue to build in Washington, D.C. Josh Hawley says, DOJ needs to announce a zero-tolerance policy for violence right now. Oh, now there's a zero-tolerance policy for violence. January 6th, there was no zero. It was like, oh, well, people are frustrated because, It was stolen. Now we need absolutely no tolerance for violence. They've left radical leftists run wild, threatening the justices, burning pregnancy care centers no more. By the way, how many family planning clinics have been firebombed? Protests are constitutionally protected, but violence is not. DOJ must put a stop to it immediately. Okay, so there's Josh Hawley's big brain take. Let's see what Raphael Edward Cruz had to say. The Supreme Court's decision in the Dobbs case reversing Roe v. Wade is nothing short of a massive victory for life, and it will save the lives of millions of innocent babies. It really won't, because banning abortion reduces the number of legal abortions, but people determined to have an abortion have one, and sometimes it's a dangerous one. He also went on to say, the decision reverses one of the most egregious departures from the Constitution, untrue, and legal precedent the U.S. has ever seen, and one that has resulted in the deaths of 63 million American children. They repeat that number. It's not a number I've ever seen confirmed. Roe was wrong the day it was decided, and it has been wrong every day since. I would actually say something different. I would argue if anything was wrong with Roe, it's that it didn't go far enough to enshrine abortion rights. If you search for the word abortion in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, you won't find it. What happens if you search for AR-15, Raphael? Interesting question. All right, this is pretty vomitous, so we're going to get away from that for now. That's not very good. I want to say thank you to Marty W. Marty grabbing a subscription at joinpacman.com. You were number 16. Today's coupon code is RESIST. Okay? It's very easy. You go to my website, you choose monthly, you choose yearly. I prefer yearly because it's just a better deal. Okay? Coupon code field, beautiful coupon code is RESIST. Okay? It does wonders for a membership. Absolute wonders. Absolute wonders. And that is, I will thank everybody who avails themselves of that. Thanks to Jen here, Kurakaj, and 10 Flicks for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Your number 17, 18, and 19. Let's listen to, should we listen to any voicemails about this? Actually, I don't have any voicemails about this. If people start leaving voicemails about this, I will play some of them. Let's look at some other reactions here. Let's go next to Matt Gaetz. What did Matt Gaetz have to say about the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade? I applaud the courage of the Supreme... Oh, here's a statement. Okay. I applaud the courage of the Supreme Court in standing up for our most vulnerable in the face of violent intimidation from leftist agitators and the Democratic Party. Roe and Casey were bad science and bad law. Now they're history. The Supreme Court's decision in Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey were a stain on the judiciary. Abortion is not deeply rooted in our nation's history. It is not found in our common law, all irrelevant. The Constitution is clear. I mean, listen, gay marriage was not deeply rooted in American history because it wasn't legal. It's a circular argument, and it's a bad one. The Constitution is clear. Americans are entitled to life and should not be deprived of it without due process of law. If a 5-week-old pregnancy gets due process, it must also get citizenship, right? I mean, it must also be entitled to child support, right? I mean, how can they say that only in this particular narrow situation? He goes on to say, every day the unborn are denied this due process when their skulls are crushed and they're ripped from their mother's wombs limb by limb until their hearts stop beating. That ends today. States are now free to create law that opposes the evil of abortion and enshrines the unborn's right to life. It's a very, very sick person who would write such a statement. And a very ignorant person, I think I should say as well. I think it's important to mention both. By the way, he's under investigation, allegedly, for child sex trafficking, which, are you being that great to young people if that's an activity you're allegedly involved in? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you're doing for children if that's something you're allegedly involved in. Allegedly. Allegedly, remember. Why has there been so little coverage on separation of church and state? Huge as Roe v. Wade is, Maine school ruling will long-term be much more harmful. Okay, I've been away for a week, so I just can't say anything about that right now, Corwin. Will there be violence if Trump is charged for January 6th? I don't know. Remains to be seen. Let's take a little bit of a listen to CNN's coverage looking at state by state.
States which are now preparing for an influx of patients crossing state lines to seek care. So how severe are these new laws? Missouri has eyes on targeting even non-residents who might pass through and conceive a child in their state. And if that person were to get an abortion elsewhere, they could pursue them legally. Oklahoma passed a law just this year to ban abortion from the moment of fertilization. Texas and some other states want abortion illegal after just 6 weeks, when many women may not even know that they are pregnant.
Correct.
Conservative lawmakers in several states have embraced the idea that there should be no exception for rape or incest, and almost all these laws carry stiff penalties for medical professionals caught providing abortion services. Tens of thousands of dollars in fines, loss of their licenses, and potentially years in prison. Frederica?
All right. Tom, thank you so much. All right, let's continue this discussion right now. I want to bring in Senator Amy Klobuchar. She's a Democrat from Minnesota. And
so that's the lay of the land, and it will be relevant very, very quickly and very, very soon, quite frankly. There are actually states that already have essentially total bans on abortion. Some of them are really old. They've sort of been, they haven't been inactive. They've been superseded by Roe v. Wade federally. I don't remember exactly which states those are. I'm not even going to guess because I just don't remember. There is a concern that particularly brutal, old anti-abortion laws now will be activated as a result of this ruling. And I need more time to investigate that. Thanks to Logo22 for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 20 today. I really very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. And let me say thank you to a few other really great people. Jeremy Layden just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 21. A few people gifted some subscriptions. That includes Johnny Minogue, our friend Johnny, and Angelica Pilger, gifting subscriptions numbers 22 and 23. And then thanks to Kevin Nicholson for the website membership at joinpacman.com as well. Really very much appreciate that. Let's continue our tour of reactions to this ruling. We will go next to Paul Gosar. Paul Gosar. Let's see what he had to say. Take a look. As amazing and historic as today is, there is still so much more work to be done to return this country to God. Oh boy. Oh boy. Thank the Lord for this day, and thank you, President Trump, for making this possible.
And we will ban men.
Let's keep our momentum and push ever forward for him. That doesn't sound to me like someone who's satisfied ending it here. You tell me. But when I read this, I'm not seeing we got this done and we're satisfied and that's it. Not the impression I'm getting, my friends. Not the impression I'm getting. Let's go next to the reaction from Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. weighing in on the overturning. Proud of my father for what he has accomplished today. Funny, Trump doesn't give a crap about Jr., but Jr.'s proud of his father. Proud of my father for what he has accomplished today. He gave our movement 3 strong pro-life Supreme Court justices, and despite the Dems and the left-wing media doing everything they could to stop their confirmations, especially with Kavanaugh, he never wavered. He is correct in that because Trump was president, Roe v. Wade is gone. That he is 110% right about that. You can't deny him that reality. That is true. That is absolutely true. And we were worried this is exactly what would happen. Super chats. David, sir, if a federal ban is enacted, can blue states still thumb their nose at the federal government as they are with legalizing weed? Yes, that's a good question. It comes down to, like, remember under Obama directed federal law enforcement not to go into states that have legalized cannabis, even though federally it's still illegal. You could have a president directing federal law enforcement in the same way, but we can't count on that. I mean, sure, it could happen, but that we can't count on that. David, sir, if Republicans are concerned about the most vulnerable, is now the time for Democrats to demand loudly childcare, healthcare, family funding, etc. Yeah, in fact, I tweeted about that moments ago, and I said, now that I spelled Roe incorrectly. Oh my God, that's so humiliating. Now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, the right wing will show their devotion to children by expanding the child tax credit, funding child care and pre-K, paid maternity and paternity leave, etc. I can't wait for them to do it. Obviously, they're not going to. But that's the whole point here. That's the whole point. If they really care about children that much, maybe do something for children. Oh, wait, there's an edit button now? Is that true that there's been an edit button added? No. Okay. I heard it's coming. I heard there is going to be an edit button coming. Would be useful. No, supposedly it's in beta or alpha. Okay. Rob with a $20 super chat. Conservatives like to act like Roe was the first time abortion was legal in the U.S., ignoring the fact that it was legal in practice for the first 100 years of our nation's history before laws started to appear. 100% correct. 100% correct. Thank you to, oh, wow. A lot of people signing up via Twitch. Thanks to Norok, Nug Wrangler for 33 months. Lurch El Cazzo gifting 10 on What Planet, Basic Days, Cypher 9, Swill, and Actual One, all with Twitch Prime subscriptions. That's 16, my friends, putting us at 40. Very much appreciate that. Super chats continuing to come in. Freakonomics suggested that post-90s reduction in crime was largely the result of legalized and accessible abortion services. Do you see we will see a big spike in crime 15 to 20 years from now? It's so hard to say. I mean, maybe those types of predictions. So many things are constantly changing. It's very tough to predict. Is there any Western country regressing as much as the USA? Very sad to see from a European perspective. No, I don't think so. The U.S. is unique in how quickly it is going backwards. Very, very, very well said. All right. We've got a few voicemails coming in about this decision. Here's Juan.
Hey, David, it's Juan. My reaction to the Roe v. Wade decision is I think it's the wrong one.
Right.
I don't know much about the topic, but I think that 18 weeks would have been a better number, midway point. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be tough, and things could get much worse.
Absolutely. Things are going to get worse. That's for damn sure. Here is Mark.
Hey, David, this is Mark from Chicago. And I just wanted to say, this is what conservatives wanted. They've been fighting for this for 50 years. And where is their plan to working people and low-income parents afford all of these kids that they are now being forced to have?
Absolutely.
Where is the plan to increase contraceptives and sex education to prevent unwanted pregnancy?
There's no plan.
Their plan, which doesn't exist, their plan is basically to live in a theocracy where people have sex only in marriage. And it just doesn't make any dang sense. It's just like Obamacare being repealed. They fight for it, and then they have no plan.
Correct.
Just wanted to get that off my chest. Thank you for the work you're doing, and I hope that you and your entire family is doing good. Blessings to you.
Thank you. 100% correct. Voicemails pouring in, people's reaction as the crowds continue to build peacefully at the Supreme Court.
Hi, David. To be honest, I'm not really surprised about this.
Nope.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people just wondering, well, what now? And it really sucks. It really stings. But it really stings to tell people that really the only thing to do now is just, vote again.
Yeah, and I want to mention that there are people I saw in the chat who are saying, we should never vote again until this is fixed. Guys, it's not going to get fixed if we stop voting, okay? So please don't do that. That's not a good idea. I'm unfortunately seeing a little bit too much of that. Now I'm exiting. I'm not going to vote for any of these people until they fix this. It's going to get worse then. Okay? It's going to get worse. And it's unfortunate. Thanks to WebTech Pantaloons, Sakira O for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Also, thanks to JR Dubs. Really appreciate that. Today's coupon code at joinpacman.com is resist. It is resist. I hate to say it, okay? But one of the reasons that the right wins is they're freaking relentless. They're relentless in a way that sometimes we on the left are not. They will throw money at a problem for literally 50 years. Literally 50 years. Okay? And they understand the importance. You got to keep the messaging going. You got to keep the PR going. You got to keep the local campaigns going. You got to do it all. And we have to make sure that we're fighting fire with fire. For as long as fire is the name of the game, we need fire. Okay? Apples aren't going to beat fire, I don't think. I guess it just get burned up. You throw an apple in a fire, it burns. Okay? So this is the time to vote. This is not the time not to vote. And I do believe, although normally gun safety and abortion are not good voting issues for Democrats, I actually believe that in this particular midterm, abortion and gun safety and the disastrous actions of the American right wing, which most Americans disagree with, may be good voting issues for Democrats. Okay? Do I think they will go after same-sex marriage? Yes. I'm not saying they'll succeed, but they're going to go after it. They're going to go out. Of course they're going to go after it. They're vehemently opposed to it. Vehemently, even. So today's coupon code is resist. I ask you with peace and love, grab a membership on my website. This allows us to continue sending correspondents around the country, having guest hosts who get paid when I am off and making us more robust. We have the coupon code resist. I think the normal rates are perfect, quite frankly. But if you use the coupon code resist, you're really talking about a discount that there should be a House investigation into these discounts. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let's check in a little bit on, oh, wait, not this. Hold on. Let's actually listen to this. I'm going to step away and
from
be right
Capitol
back.
Hill, from Supreme Court restrictions on women's health, an overturning of Roe v. Wade, and from Congress now, a bipartisan effort to restrict some gun rights. So put it all into context for us today.
No, I think you're exactly right. A big, big day, 30 years in the making in terms of, in some ways, both of these decisions. If you think about the Supreme Court and the sort of battle to overturn abortion rights, that has been about a 3-decade push by conservatives. And if you think about what's happening with gun rights, it's been about 30 years since.
All right, I'm back. Thought there was a little problem, but everything's fine. Okay, so we're going to continue watching this. The protests are remaining peaceful by every report that I am getting. If people have other streams of the protests that you would like me to pick up, I'm glad to do that. I just am not necessarily aware of too many others, but we will continue monitoring. But every indication that these are peaceful at this point in time. If the Supreme Super Chats, if the Supreme Court bans contraception, IVF could put women's health at risk as birth control is used to reduce the risk of ovarian cysts. This is very sad. One of many things that is sad. Is Mississippi's termination ban from conception? What does that mean for IUDs, ECP, etc.? All good questions that I don't have an answer to right now. If this madness is happening, why not free birth control, free tubal ligation, and free vasectomies? Ask Republicans. I mean, they're against all those things. This is from the same Supreme Court members who said you can't introduce new exonerating evidence in a death sentence if your lawyer failed to represent you. Yeah, they're disgusting. They're absolutely disgusting. Disgusted with Clarence Thomas concurring opinion. People never stop voting. Yeah, this is not the time to stop voting, guys. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Okay, one other thing. What's this comment? Any more Trump rally coverage, David? I mean, this is we're covering this. This is what's going on. There's no Trump rally right now, but that I'm aware of. I don't know. One of the things about this issue of abortion is I don't believe we will ever get to agreement as to when life begins. You've got the people who say life begins at conception and those who say life begins sometime later? Or is it the possibility of life? And then maybe even more importantly, when do the cells become a person? My view is that this is actually a philosophical issue and not a scientific issue. I think when you start with, a sperm and an egg, and you end 9 to 9.5 months later with a baby that is definitely a person, I don't think there is necessarily one answer. I think it's the wrong way to even approach the issue. It's what about the rights of the mother? It's about medical privacy. It's about so many other things. But I mean, listen, imagine that 90% of the medical community and the planet decided at 8 weeks, 9 days, it's now whatever. It's now a person or whatever. Just because there's 95 or 90% agreement doesn't mean this exact same disagreement goes away. So it's not going to be resolved in any kind of satisfaction that way. This is a moral question, a philosophical question, and a legal question that does not really depend on what is the change in a fetus from week 7 to week 8 or whatever the case may be. And I don't know that, I mean, it's sort of, I think you guys get it. I don't think there's more I can say about it. I think you understand sort of the point that I'm trying to make here. I want to say thanks to Crowbars Forever, Cesaro Beach Ball, Jeffahena. Jeffahena sounds almost like, Jeffahena reminds me of
Cephahide.
Yeah, Jeffahena with the Twitch Prime subscriptions. I appreciate that. Numbers 45, 46, and 47. Massive dumps of memberships happening on the website. Letitia Lopez is a new member. Bevan Molina is a new member. And Hillary McNearney, all signing up at joinpacman.com, putting us at 50. You can sign up on my website today with the coupon code RESIST. Those memberships are our primary source of funding. Let's listen to a few more of these voicemails as they come in about what is happening today. Let's listen.
Hi, David. I just wanted your opinion on what you think about what's next on the agenda for the Republicans. This was their ace in the hole, and now they've used it. So where do they go from here in the coming elections? What else do they have? Who else are they going to go after?
This is a fair question where I have said to some degree Republicans benefit from having Roe v. Wade to fight against. That's not going to be a problem for them. Now they simply move the goalposts and they say, now that we've gotten rid of Roe v. Wade, we will work on two things as far as abortion goes. We will work on a federal ban on abortion. That would be the next thing. And they will work on banning abortion in every state. They'll go, well, we've got to go to the blue states. We've got to go to California. We've got to go to New York. We've got to go to Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. We have to start working on state level bans there. There's still too much of this. They're going to be fine, guys. They're going to still be able to raise money. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They've got plenty of stuff that they can do. Here's another one from Jacob.
Hey, David, this is Jacob from Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah, with the blue states possibly being protected federally for doctors performing abortions, I mean, the way I see it is that they probably won't want to put their medical license on the line in the same way that Good Samaritan laws don't protect doctors if they save someone's life with CPR or what have you outside of a hospital. They can be held responsible for any injuries that the person they saved could get, opposed to if a random civilian saves their life, they can't be sued and lose their license. So even blue states, I feel like, could be under the hammer of.
Everybody's going to be under the hammer. They are coming, guys. They are not. I get the instinct, okay, of saying this is such a massive defeat. This is such a massive defeat that we have the instinct to give up and say, I got to exit. I've got to exit. But it would be the absolute wrong time to do it because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And this should only renew our commitment and dedication. Drew says, well, we will likely be seeing a decrease in women's mental health, physical health, and worse, potential deaths because of this, with the pro-lifers taking no responsibility. Of course. Of course. This one we already did. Very good. I want to say a huge thank you to Jade Robbins for signing up on my website. Marnie Hill is a new member, and Christina Ross is a new member. Numbers 51, 52, and 53. Napa Skip Dog also signing up via Twitch Prime. I really appreciate that. It's been a tough month for the show. We've had a lot of guest hosts in. I've been away first because of my short paternity leave. Then, as I mentioned, my girlfriend is back in the hospital. She had to have an operation for a perforated ulcer, and it has been crazy. And I'm glad to be here and sharing some time with you guys now that we've got a little bit of baby coverage and such. Quite frankly, tragic news. Thanks to Gofa for the Twitch Prime subscription. Other super chats coming in. When Roe v. Wade passed, the highly conservative Dems and GOP of the time were against it. People organized. The elites were forced to act. Don't be fooled that it is the only solution. Well said. Sonia says, after going through 2 high-risk pregnancies, I'm devastated by this ruling. I live in Pennsylvania. I'm very distraught over Mastriano potentially winning governorship, as he wants to ban outright. Wishing you and your family all the best. Oh, if you combine this with some of the people running for governor, Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania being at the top of the list, we could see a mass, even bigger, just backwards move for this country. I'm never hyperbolic, right? Like many times I go, this election is not the most the most important election of our time. Like, I'll give you an example. In 2012, when the country was very well recovered and continuing to recover economically, Barack Obama was president, Romney challenged Obama. I voted for Obama. I disagreed with Mitt Romney on social policy. I disagreed with Mitt Romney on fiscal policy. But it's hard to argue that that was likely to be the election of our time if Mitt Romney had won. I mean, basically, the country would have mostly functioned similarly, and rich people would have paid a little bit less. I'm not supporting Romney, okay? Don't cancel me. But the point is, it was very hard to feel like this is the most important election. Not as many people paid attention to the results. Barack Obama won easily. He was expected to win. It was okay. The 2016 election was very different. Why? Because of this. Because many of us knew, wait a second. You look at the age of justices, you look at all these different things. This could be one of the most important elections. 2020 was extraordinarily important because it was after 4 disastrous years of Trump. Are they going to vote for him again? Is he getting another 4? And what that would mean? I don't believe it's hyperbolic to say that these midterms are the most important midterms I can remember. And people in the chat let me know. I can't think of midterms that are potentially as consequential as these, particularly because now with this Roe v. Wade repealed, lunatic Trumpians running at the gubernatorial level, potentially the reelection of Trumpist lunatics to the House. I believe these midterms are the most important midterms, at least that I've covered. I mean, 2014 midterms, it's it was significant, and there was the Ebola fear mongering from Republicans. It's not like what's going on right now. Okay. It's just, whoops. So anyway, that's my sense on these midterms, and it's only scaling up. Massive dumps of super chats are coming in. I don't know if you're familiar with Philosophy Tube. It's hosted by Abby Thorne. There's a thought-provoking episode on abortion and Ben Shapiro. I don't recall Shapiro's role. I will check it out. David, what can we actually do from here? As a person with a job and responsibilities, what can I do in my life to make this better? How can we fight this? We've got to vote. We've got to work for candidates. Doesn't mean you have to donate, right? If you can donate, you donate. But we have to oppose dangerous candidacies. Doug Mastriano, Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania are important ones, et cetera, et cetera. I know this sounds self-serving, but even if it's not me, we have to support a media apparatus. If you look at how the right just shovels money at people like Ben Shapiro, The Daily Wire, Michael Knowles, Charlie Kirk, Mark Levin, all these people. They do it because they go, this is a long-term play. If this environment, if this media landscape is strong, we get more wins. They get it. They get it. And you know that I've said before, hold on a second. I think I got to, there's some people, some of these people getting banned. Okay. Get the hell out of here. We've got to support a media apparatus as well, is the point. Okay. Was just announced the House passed landmark gun legislation. If there's any good news today, that would be it. That is good news. I haven't looked at it, and we will absolutely be covering that. Will the Constitution survive this hypocrisy? Abortion is not named, so it's not a right. Separation of church and state is named, but it's ignored. What's the fix here? That's a good question. That's a good question. Do you feel a mass jury nullification campaign should be started in concern of the matter of Roe v. Wade? I don't know how jury nullification would work in this particular case. My God, David, sir, I've never been so sad and scared in my life after 22 years. This is awful. I'm afraid what will follow. Many of us are. Is it possible for of the Supreme Court to be arrested on charges of perjury for lying about how they'd rule on Roe? I don't. So hold on. Was the decision, was the decision different than what was? I see. In their confirmation hearings. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I wouldn't even be thinking about that. I wouldn't even be thinking about that. I want to say thanks to Jen here, Genesis, and Cody Culp for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 58. A really important day for website memberships. Natalie Koftiel is a new member and is new member number 59. Thank you, Natalie. Nancy Mrazik, I hope is correct, is new member number 60 today. The coupon code is RESIST. I will thank everybody who signs up. Louis Berman is new member number 61 today on my website. And also thanks to Adam Gingrich, who has gifted 2 more subscriptions, numbers 62 and 63. If you want a free membership, go to davidpacman.com/free membership and fill out that form. It's very, very easy. Very easy. Okay, let's take a tour of coverage and see what is going on. Okay, so that's going on there.
Since this ruling came down.
Well, look, the pro-life movement, and you see here in Missouri, it's a powerful movement, the right to life movement.
Look at these pro-lifers, huh? Look at these pro-lifers. They've got upper management written all over them, particularly this couple here. I hope they talk to them.
Today is a big day, and it's an important day, and they're saying that they are celebrating it. We've heard people honking and yelling sort of support here to the pro-life crowd. Now, just sort of down the sidewalk, and Rich could come, and I don't mean to turn my back, but we can try to make our way through the crowd. You have pro-choice individuals who came out here this morning. They actually saw us on TV and came out here. It's a smaller group. They're laying here, sort of sitting here against the fence, and we've been talking to them, and they're incredibly depressed about what has happened. There is a shock here.
They look despondent.
And when you talk to women across this country, it is worth reporting that there's a great deal of fear as well in that community. And certainly when I spoke to Representative Cori Bush, she spoke to that. She spoke to the fear that is amongst women. Because here in a state like Missouri, which is a very conservative state, has a conservative state government here, there's a concern amongst groups like Planned Parenthood that birth control could be next. Birth control is still legal in the state of Missouri. We need to be clear about that. But there is a concern that there are other laws, other freedoms, as Planned Parenthood would say it, that could be coming under threat, Aaron.
All right, Cal Perry for us in Missouri today. Cal, thank you. We appreciate
Okay, so things not looking particularly good in Missouri. Let's listen to CBS News.
Lead, in their view, to winning back the House and possibly winning back control of the Senate. And I think now it's less certain. And so it's definitely worth watching how Republicans talk about this issue, because we've seen them before try to strike a balance, try to say, look, this is the right thing. I agree with this, but my state, in some cases you hear Republicans say this, my state has laws on the books. It's established. I'm not going to argue against that. So it'll be really interesting to see, how Republicans deal with this. And I think that'll be really
well. They're gonna have a field day, that's for sure. Now we are back at the Supreme Court here with CNN.
Size of the crowd here, which has grown substantially over the last several hours. This crowd was just a couple dozen people when this opinion came out. Now there are hundreds and hundreds of people. As you can see, law enforcement is gearing up. There are more officers now than we've seen throughout the day. The big concern for law enforcement at this point, based on what you see from the crowd, is not necessarily opposing protests clashing, because at this point, people who are in support of this opinion have left. So right now, this is just entirely people who are disillusioned by this decision, who are calling the Supreme Court illegitimate, among other things, people who clearly are protesting to try to preserve some rights to.
So there's only pro-choice people left, and the police are really gearing up. I don't know that I love the sound of that, guys. You tell me.
An actor seeing this as an opportunity to commit acts of violence. Law enforcement throughout the Washington area has been concerned about people who are utilizing this as an opportunity to carry out acts of domestic violent extremism. That's what they're planning for. Security throughout the area ramping up, Capitol Police ramping up staffing, MPD ramping up staffing. And that goes, too, for the jurisdictions where the Supreme Court justices live. They've put, for example, in one jurisdiction where Supreme Court justices live, they put their civil disturbance unit, which is basically their riot cops, on standby. A lot of concern within Washington that this opinion is going to draw out anger, and the big concern is violence back here at the Capitol.
And right now,
the other big concern is that
right there.
this attention, this anger, this emotion could turn toward the Capitol. That's the other thing.
All right. Well, the emphasis right now and the focus right there at the U.S. Supreme Court. Whitney Wild, thank you so much. That's going to do it for me. I'm Frederica Whitfield. More breaking news after this.
All right, so that's what's going on there. And again, if there are people on the ground talking to protesters, I would love to pick up those streams. So let me know, describe them. I don't think you can put links in the chat, but if you describe to me how to find them, I will absolutely look for those. I want to say thank you to two great people, Andrew Wafter, I hope that's the right pronunciation, and Nathan Weatherly. Just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, and are new members 64 and 65. Today's coupon code is RESIST. We're here. I would love for you to sign up at joinpacman.com right now, with or without the coupon code, and I will thank you, and we will all rejoice. This ruling is so monumental, says Sinsu. I'm 75, and for most of my life, this flawed country was moving in a positive direction. I assumed it was always going to continue that way. It has shaken me to my very soul to see where we are now. Well said, Sinsu. Well said. How soon until we can see progress from the left? Got to win some elections, right? Already happening that they have LGBTQ rights in the crosshairs. Okay, I'm not going to go to the Thomas calls for overturning precedents on contraceptives. Yeah. Not a surprise. Hearing stuff like this makes me want to move to Canada. I have a long distance relationship with someone there anyway, so it wouldn't even be just a decision made from politics. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you at all. I wonder if the judges who decided to overturn believe that they will be blessed with a higher place in heaven now. Very disgusting. Love the show, David. Thank you. Appreciate that. When will media call Supreme Court and corrupt theocrats domestic terrorists? You know, since their choices end up killing people. Never. Never. It's not on their radar, my friends. Not on their radar. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's listen to a couple of other voicemails about the news of today.
Hey, David. So I saw on Instagram that you made a tortilla a while back and you put a Fresno chili in it. I'm sorry, but that is probably unconstitutional. And you might just go to jail in Spain and maybe a few other countries as well.
Yeah, when I made my Spanish-style potato tortilla, I am upfront that my inclusion of a thinly sliced Fresno chili is not traditional. It's whatever the hell I want because it's my kitchen, okay? That's all. That's all that I meant. Let's see what else we have here on Roe v. Wade.
Hi, this is Jay from Ohio, and I wanted to talk about Roe versus Wade being overturned.
Yes.
I think the thing that a lot of people that haven't been paying attention to this don't understand is that this has to do not only with abortion, but also the reasoning in the Dobbs decision has to do with these unenumerated rights, like rights that are not set explicitly in the Constitution. But they're going after not just Roe, but also Obergefell. And then, if Obergefell and Lawrence are also gone, we're talking about a bunch of decisions that go all the way up to Brown versus Board of Education.
Of course, it is naive. A bunch of people took issue. They were like, David, you're being hyperbolic. You're being hyperbolic about this is going to go further. Of course it's going to go further. It's obvious. Thomas said it in the decision that they're going to that they should be looking to go further. So, I don't have time. I just don't have time for it, guys. I do want to let you know, one of our viewers put together Taylor put together. This is really funny. This is hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, damn. Hold on. Give me a second. This is really funny. This is potentially an element that I could use during the pre-stream songs. Wait, what's going on here? There we go. Okay. Let me put this up. This is an album cover, not anal bum cover, of course, as the great skit includes. This is the essential David Pac-Man, as you can see, $32.99. That's expensive. It features "Bring My Mangoes Back Down," which is great, and it does have a parental advisory, as you can see. So this is the album. Find it in vinyl store. I would recommend picking up a few pieces of vinyl. It's 32 euro. Wow. Now, why does it say 2016 on it? That I don't know. So that's the essential David Pac-Man. We will be offering that. It almost would be fun. Could I get vinyl pressed? It almost would be. I bet that would be interesting. Imagine if I put some of our songs on an actual piece of vinyl and offered it. It's got to be expensive. It's got to be really, really expensive. It would take 8 months to get it pressed. Oh my God. That's horrifying. All right. Sounds like too much work. Ding Ding Dong says, as if we needed more evidence that cops only back fascists, we are back to the dark ages and I fear for our country's future. Many are afraid. How will these extreme changes help Republicans bring in newer, more Republican voters? That's an interesting point. I mean, I think they would say, we are finally making progress against the Democratic machine. Join us now and we'll go beyond just Roe v. Wade. Something like that would be my guess. Thanks to Nasty Q's and Fungus Wungus for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. I also want to say thank you to Bev Mister, who just signed up at joinpacman.com. Really appreciate that. Thanks to Soul Angel. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've not seen that name. Jacobs, new member number 69. And thanks to Big D Energy. Wow. Quite a shot across the bow. Big D Energy is new member number 70 today. The coupon code is RESIST. Folks, today is a good day as ever to grab one of those memberships. Let's continue looking at super chats as they come in. Oh, hold on. I run an indie record label that focuses on vinyl. Let's talk. Yeah, please email info@davidpacman.com. I'd love to hear a little bit about pieces of vinyl. All right. Thank you for all you do, David. We greatly appreciate your work. Wishing a speedy recovery to your fiancé and your family. Best wishes. Would also like to see a collab with Brian Tyler Cohen. Would love to do that. Anytime. I'm seeing so many conservative Republican apologists on social media acting outraged about Roe. Either don't know it's their fault or don't care. Yeah, there's no shortage of stupidity. That's for sure. Mr. Pac Dad, sir, what is your baby's view on the socioeconomic implications of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade? Blessings to you and your family, Pac Baby. Right now, she's basically focused on avoiding diaper rash. So I don't know that she's necessarily taken a big position on any of the major political issues. She is pro baby formula regulation, though. That I can tell you for sure. Thoughts on impeachment for Barrett, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh for lying to the Senate? Diana, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but it's not going to happen. So I don't know that it's a good use of our time and resources. I hate to be so cynical. When have conservatives ever tried to appeal to more voters? Their whole plan revolves around reducing voter turnout. That's a fair point as well. That's a fair point as well. In Ireland, which was supposedly a conservative country and was to the early 1990s, here we are voting by referendas for same-sex marriage in 2015, abortion in 2018. I love my progressive country. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Fundsome has just signed up via Twitch Prime and is new member number 71. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Let's listen to a couple of other Actually, let's see if. Hold on. Let me take a look at who else is on the ground, maybe interviewing people at some of these protests. Let me check my live now feed. NBC News, we've got a lot of these we already have going. Let's see. Supreme Court protests, filter by live. Let's take a look here. Okay, there are some protest feeds. I would like to see what the tone and tenor is.
Whose street? Our street! 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 Whose street? Our street!
Right. Okay, so that's one protest. Let's see. There's actually a lot going on, so this will be useful. Oh, this seems to be video of the exact same thing. I think that this individual might be holding the megaphone a little too close to the mouth, and it's distorting, unfortunately. I do wish that protest chants had slightly better audio production. I think you would get much more buy-in if they did, but you can't always have that. Okay, this is just the same feed. It's just a duplicated feed. So we'll keep an eye on that very closely. What's with all the security? Can't justices conceal carry under their robes? Save the taxpayers some dollars and practice what you preach. Right. If there's no right to medical privacy, then trans healthcare is in jeopardy with the reasoning of the new ruling, especially in the climate of nearly genocidal anti-trans rhetoric. A major concern. A major, major concern. Thank you to Derek Wooldridge. Derek just signed up at joinpacman.com. Derek used the code RESIST. Resist is such a simple word to spell, and it gives you such a great discount. So I appreciate that, Derek. Thank you very much. Also, thanks to Blueberry Babe for the Twitch Prime subscription over on Twitch. All right. Do you guys want to take like a 3-minute break from the Roe v. Wade thing just to show you how crazy the entire field of like what's considered healthy food and diets is? I've been saving this for a while, and then because of all the hospital stuff and everything, I haven't gotten to it. You want to take like a 4 or 5 minute break for something that's just purely bonkers? Is that okay, or would it be inappropriate? We'll get back to this. The protests are only building. Yes. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me set this up for you. Okay. So as many of you know, I've talked before many times. To me, it seems as though the magic bullet of nutrition doesn't really exist. The concept of superfoods. Well, there's foods that are high in certain things, and maybe they are things that can be good for some elements of health, but the superfood elements, extreme diets, over focusing on any particular thing, or no carb or all meat, or all to me, it seems that the consensus is limit portion size, eat mostly unprocessed foods. The Mediterranean type diet is a pretty good model, in terms of oils, like olive oil, avocado oil are good. Fish is good, and try to use whole fat dairy, and okay, whatever. So fine. So let me give you two extremes. These are two different TikTokers, each convinced that what they're doing is the healthiest thing. Okay. So first, here's a guy called Carnivore MD. This guy is like, everything's bad. Just eat like bull testicle and whatever else. Okay. So like, Here's a typical meal for this guy, all right?
How I like to eat organs. My preferred way is to eat them raw. This is what I'm having for dinner tonight. I've got raw heart, raw testicle, raw liver, and fresh raw bone marrow. So you do this, you do this. That's a big piece. You swallow it, and you do this. A lot of you guys ask me.
So this guy's like, this is all meat, okay? And I'll give you another example of all the things that he says are bad, okay? So, oh, hold on a second. Now I've got crazy stuff going on. Here's all the things that are bad. What was a good one? Okay, here, vegetable.
I have a confession to make. This morning, I ate a vegetable. Not kale or broccoli. I would never eat this garbage. That's total bullshit. I ate a green banana, which is basically a vegetable. You should never eat green bananas. Fruit doesn't want to get eaten when it's unripe. That doesn't make any sense. As fruit ripens, the amount of defense chemicals in the fruit decrease. And the notion that resistant starch...
So this guy's whole thing is like, just eat meat, raw meat, eat eggs, sometimes papaya, vegetables are bad for you, you know, okay, it's terrible. Now, here's this, that's what this guy says is the healthiest thing. He says he doesn't need to even like brush his teeth with toothpaste. He doesn't need deodorant because he smells perfect because he's eating meat. Okay. Here's another one. This is high raw vegan. This is what these people eat. Okay, check this out.
Think of dinners as high raw vegans. Coconut ceviche, sourdough avo toast with French-style cheese and shrooms, red pepper lentil bolognese. We use the leftover lentils to make sweet potato lentil burgers with green ranch, quinoa global with green goddess, broccoli and
and then sometimes they'll have like an entire bag of mangoes as a meal. Let's look at like another one of these.
What we eat in a day is high raw vegans. We started this day with a papaya, then we broke open this 28-pound watermelon.
I mean, can you imagine? Breakfast is what looked like 3 pounds of papaya and a 28-pound watermelon.
Ate about half of it. For lunch, I was loading
14 of the 28 pounds, sorry.
Truck, so Allie made us a chocolate protein frosty. It had 20 Thai bananas. We didn't
20
feel
bananas, guys.
Like cooking, so we finally opened up our durian. It was so creamy and good. What we eat in a day is...
I'll give you one more of these. Here we go.
What we eat in a day is high raw vegans. We started by hydrating with the whole cantaloupe, followed by mandarins and oranges.
I mean, it's a plate of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 oranges for a meal. It's kind of like, okay, I don't know, guys.
For lunch, we shared this thick Blue Dream nice cream. Then we found sweetheart lychees at the market. For dinner, we each had a plate of golden potatoes with California avocado and split 2 bunches of baby broccoli.
Okay. To me, both of these extremes seem like sort of like, is it considered, I think, does orthorexia apply not only to exercise, but also to diet? It sort of seems like pathological in some way. Like none of this seems good. None of this seems good. It seems that both of these are extremes. And I don't know how much of it is for the content and whether they maybe go and then just like, hey, you know, I had a little salmon with broccolini. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. But it's all kind of weird. So to me, it all seems extreme. It seems obsessive and etc. All right. I am going to refill my water. Let's listen to what's happening and we will be right back.
It's hard to get pregnant without a man. I mean, it's possible actually, but it's difficult. And so it's a family issue. It's a man's issue. It's a woman's issue. I mean, it's
an economic
complicated.
issue.
It's a huge economic issue. But Ellie, about that stare decisis, you know, the respecting of the precedent and about the slippery slope argument. I mean, how do you interpret what Justice Alito said about now sort of everything's fair game?
Well, there's 3 different perspectives in this opinion that came out today, Allison. Justice Alito says, look, even though these rights to abortion, to contraception, to marriage, to sexual practices, all spring from the same source of the Constitution, the 14th Amendment. We're only touching the abortion issue today. All those other ones, they're safe. We're not going there. Justice Clarence Thomas says, oh, we should go there. We should reconsider those rights that we've established regarding marriage and contraception and sexual practices. The dissent, of course, says, why should we trust what you say, Justice Alito? Because based on the legal principle that you're establishing here, all those other rights could well be in jeopardy as well. They should not be, the dissent argues, but they're in play now, too. So that's where this is going to head in the future. We've got a split court, but as Joan and Gloria said, this is a 6-3 conservative court any way you cut it, and it's likely to remain in conservative control for the next several years at least.
But, Joan, Chief Justice Roberts is a bit of a wild card. I mean, maybe I'm overstating that. But the way he decided with this, but not thinking that Roe versus Wade should be overturned, was that interesting or unexpected to you?
You know, no, it wasn't. It's interesting that you pointed out, Allison, but he had tipped his hand during oral arguments back in December in this case, where what he wanted was to uphold the Mississippi law, the 15-week ban. And he had proposed that essentially during oral arguments and also cautioned, look, we don't need to confront Roe v. Wade. In fact, Allison, when the justices first agreed to hear this case, they said they were only going to decide whether the 15-week ban should be upheld. They weren't going to decide the fate of Roe v. Wade, which
I do want to make an announcement. I will be investing in vasectomy private practices that specialize in vasectomies. That is going to be my next Tesla for everybody. That's a joke, by the way. I wouldn't even know how to invest in that. And they're probably not even publicly traded companies, but I think you sort of get the point. Thank you to Becky Green for the Twitch Prime subscription and for the website membership, and Dana Tompkins, number 74 and 75. Also want to say thanks to Pink and Blonde, Blueberry Babe, and Harry for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 78. A 90 British pound super chat, today's top from Jody. I'm glad to see you streaming today, David. Thank you, Jody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. 40 months of YouTube membership for Jeff Rogers, who says, how can progressives or even Democrats at large ever win when the deck is so stacked against them? Gerrymandering, electoral college, etc. A great question, one I've addressed, unfortunately, too much on the show because of how necessary it is to address. Thanks to Thomas 8-Man and A Danish Joint for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 80. Very much appreciate that. Let's listen to a couple of other voicemails from people about what's going on today.
Hi, David. This is a comment to your vegan versus carnivore segment you just did on your live stream.
Sorry, I can't tolerate audio that's that bad. I'm just not going to do it. Okay? Sorry.
Hey, David. This is Thunder from California. I was just seeing how you feel about this. You know, with all the white replacement theory stuff going on, you know, the whites are getting, replaced, taking away the Roe versus Wade. Do you believe that there'll be an increase in, let's say, white nationalists raping white women and forcing them to have those children so that it can increase their white numbers?
Oh, my God. I am not prepared to comment on that. That is not something I've considered deeply. And I am not going to weigh in on that at this time. I'm going to reserve judgment. Okay. I'm going to reserve judgment on that. Thank you. Let's listen to a couple of others here and see what we've got. Looking for something sensible if I can find it.
Hey, David. I hope you and your family are doing okay. I'm watching your show right now. Turned it off in the background just for you. But
Thank you.
I just get this feeling with abortions that conservatives won this argument the day they chose the term pro-life. And it goes back to what you talk about a lot about democratic messaging.
Yep.
And same thing with the filibuster. The reason that got shut down so fast is because the Republicans just immediately were able to make it sound like, like an abortion to a conservative. But yeah, I think it really just shows we need way stronger messaging and should have voted for Hillary, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, listen, this is George Lakoff has written extensively about this. If you're interested in that, check out some of George Lakoff's writings. The bottom line is, and I can make it very simple for you, is the following. When you have the better language for even describing your side of the issue, even if it makes no damn sense, you're already at a structural advantage. So the abortion one is super simple, right? Which is pro-life, pro-choice. Isn't life good? Well, being for life is good. It doesn't even matter what it means. It doesn't mean if it ignores women's autonomy. It doesn't matter if it ignores health consideration. It just doesn't matter, right? Pro-life. I mean, I don't know. Life is good, right? So I'm pro-life. How could I be against life? Tax relief is another one that George Lakoff writes about, which is tax relief means taxes are a burden. Lower taxes mean you have been relieved. So lower taxes are better. Of course, the left's position isn't higher taxes are better. The left's position is if we're going to have a society where there's more than like 150 people, which is sort of like the largest group of humans that can kind of manage directly without infrastructure, about 150 people is what research shows. If you're going to have groups of more than 150 people that want to organize and do things together, it doesn't work to say each person has their road. And if you want it, you just pay them when you use it or whatever. You need some kind of infrastructure. And in order to pay for things, you need taxes. And so what we want is effective and reasonable taxation to have. Okay. But tax relief, dude, it's my money. Relieve my taxes. Take away the burden. They've won, in a sense, on the language. That's what the caller's talking about. That's what George Lakoff has written about. And it's a very important issue. I'm glad it's being brought up. Other super chats. We have a protester at the very top of the new Frederick Douglass Bridge in D.C. The bridge has been shut down. Do we have video of that? Let's see. Frederick Douglass Bridge protest. Not finding anything live. Yeah. Okay. North Dakota has trigger laws in place making abortion illegal. There was one abortion clinic in the state which was beleaguered by Christian fundamentalist protesters weekly. They will not stop here. Yeah, they will not. Thanks to Merrill McKee for signing up on my website. Thanks to Jeremiah Schnerly for signing up on my website. New members 81 and 82. It's a horrible day. And the coupon code RESIST is the code that today gets you an ungodly discount on my website. If you want to, you can still use the coupon code OBAMNA, if I could spell it correctly. It's an even bigger discount, quite frankly. That's the truth.
Obama.
Yeah. So feel free to use whichever you prefer. Let's listen. Oh, hold on. One more super chat. Conservatives realize that when the Supreme Court takes rights away, they lose them too. You may not agree with the right, but it isn't just liberals losing out. Fair. Fair and well said. Other voicemails coming in.
Hey, David, this is Casey from Oklahoma. Just wondering when you're going to address copying Sam and having a child after he did. I haven't heard your reasoning for doing so, and I think you owe it to your listeners.
Yep, that's true. So first I stole Sam Cedar's panels from his set. Then I stole Sam's Judaism and decided to be Jewish too. And then now I decided to have a girl as my firstborn, just like Sam did. So I'm basically just copying Sam on everything. Now, one question would be, when will Sam copy my subscriber numbers, right? That way, that may be forthcoming. And we will see if and when Sam is able to do that. Congrats, Papa Pac-Man. Thank you. David, sir, we do not have a long-standing tradition of women being allowed to vote. That right, exactly. This is exactly the point. Earlier in the 20th century, you could have made that argument. Listen, women voting, that's not an enshrined right. I mean, listen, we don't even have a history of that. Thanks to Texas Bear Claw, Vaderette, Symbolic Gamer for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 85. Let's listen to what Ana Navarro is saying.
To be the states where people have some rights, and there's going to be states where people don't have some rights. There's going to be a difference between women who have money, and the men who impregnate them when they have money. Women who don't have money. This is not getting rid of abortion. This is getting rid of safe abortion.
Right.
Let's be real about what this means.
Alice, obviously, Anna there raised a lot of questions, but beyond the political debate, beyond the emotion.
And we will ban men.
It's been about the practical issues. Who will support these hundreds of thousands of unwanted babies when they're forced to be born? Who will, in these Republican-led, more red states, will they expand the social safety net? Who will pay the medical bills, the housing bills of these children? How will that work?
Look, there are a lot of factors that need to be ironed out as this moves forward and is put back at the state level where it belongs. But I can tell you, having worked and advocated in the pro-life community for many years.
Yeah, this woman is one of the most disgusting anti-choice activists out there. She's vile.
Provide assistance, financial assistance for expectant mothers.
Right, but I mean
before,
after
during, and
they're born.
after.
I mean after
before,
they're born.
Before, during, and after they have their child, whether they decide to put it up for adoption or they want to keep it themselves. There are services in place in the pro-life community that will help in this situation.
But Alice, hold on, Alice. Let me just talk to you about that. There are something like 410,000 children in the foster care system right now in the U.S. So clearly they're not all being adopted. And some of these babies will have obviously physical disabilities. What is the plan? Obviously, they're not just all being taken care of currently.
Well, clearly
Right.
those
They're already not all being taken care of, but they're like, let's just make more.
in the womb or after the child is born is something that needs to be discussed and considered and obviously taken.
Stop the abortions now, then discuss and consider if and how to take care of kids that are either unwanted or that people are unable to afford. Great strategy, guys. Very much pro-life. What a beautiful strategy of life. A message of peace and harmony. Dear God, this is what happens when these people are in power. Louis Berman says, our Jewish tradition believes that the life of the pregnant person is paramount, and this ruling goes against Jewish law and tradition. This is a moment of mourning. This is absolutely true. We covered this story on the bonus show, okay? Typically in the United States, religious forces are against abortion. The evangelicals are against abortion. The Catholics are generally against abortion, although they have moderated on it. Against abortion. And in Judaism, there is paramount, as Lewis is saying, that the life of the mother must be preserved. If only insofar as if the mother dies, the mother no longer can birth any other children in the future. And there's, of course, more to it. And if you don't, no one person has to care about any particular religious teaching. But the point here is there is an argument to be made. And in Florida, they are suing that an abortion ban violates the religious freedom of Jews because the religious dictates are you must preserve the life of the mother. And a flat out abortion ban violates that religious concept. And I don't know where that lawsuit's going to go. It's very different than what is mostly the involvement of religion in the United States with this issue of Roe v. Wade and abortion. But, okay. Well said, Lewis. I appreciate the message. Thank you to Therese Pelkey, who just signed up on my website, and Scott Tilley, who just signed up. New members 86 and 87. Also, thank you to Laura Lawrence, new member number 88. Oh, not 888, 88. Very, very much appreciate that. All right, everybody, my coverage for now ends here. I may stream again later, and I hope to be back on the show Monday. As I told you, things have been crazy this week. My girlfriend, unrelated to the pregnancy and the delivery, had to be rehospitalized for surgery. And all of a sudden, I've been doing the single dad thing all of a sudden. And believe me, I will have stories. But now we're trying to get everybody home and healthy and everything. So I hope to be back Monday. It may be for Ron Kazins, but I will be back soon. Okay. Talk to everybody soon. Thank you for joining me.